Baker Mayfield. That's all I got to say. The guy is on fire this year. And after a couple of tepid weeks, week 14 and week 13, where he was just okay, he was a starting quarterback, but not a great one. He bounced back week 15 in a slight drizzle in Lambeau Field. Baker Mayfield balled out, had arguably the best passing performance of any quarterback this season, and arguably his best performance of the year. Let's get to the charts. No bullshit. He had an elite throw. It was a touchdown to Mike Evans. He had 4 great throws. These are deep downfield throws that require significant arm talent. He had 8 solid throws, and these are either perfectly placed. The shortest one was about 7 yards. Perfect placement. Ended up being a super long touchdown because of it. Or, that 10-yard range right around the sticks. Take real zip, but, most guys can do it. It's good when they do it. 10 routine throws. I'm not going to show you many of those, maybe 1 or 2. Only 4 inaccurate passes on the game. And 2 of them weren't even inaccurate so much as they were just difficult to catch, right? On one of them, he threw a slant to Trey Palmer, and Trey Palmer got 2 hands on it and should have caught it, but he was afraid of getting hit. And I'm going to blame Baker Mayfield for that because if he hadn't thrown a hospital ball, if he had thrown a ball that was easier to catch, down low away from the defender who could behead Trey Palmer, it probably would have been a catch. So I blame Baker for that, mostly just because I'm trying to be really harsh. Baker took 1 sack he absolutely shouldn't have, and then took 3 sacks that were absolutely not his fault. The 1 sack he did take that he shouldn't have was also a sack fumble, and it led to the Packers getting easy points. Baker also had 2 throwaways, one of which I didn't realize was a throwaway until I got to the All22, so that's why we check up. He had 1 run all game, and it was just neutral. Didn't have to navigate the pocket that much in this game. He had 10-plus pocket movements. That's low for him on this season. This season, he's been navigating the pocket like a savant. The only person better at it has been Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes is arguably the best ever at navigating the pocket, so that's pretty good. Baker Mayfield was accurate on 85% of his passes in this game. And before you go ahead thinking like, oh, maybe it's because he threw a lot of short passes. No, only 39% of his plays were cheap plays, which I consider short throws like screens or slants or flats, dump offs, or runs. I mean, he had 1 run. It was neutral. It was cheap. So he had 11 cheap plays on this game. That's really low, right? League average for cheap plays, as I call them, is 47%. And Baker Mayfield's average is 45%. And in this game, it was 39%. So he's throwing downfield and he's got unreal accuracy. Like 35 or 85% accuracy adjusted for drops is nuts. The league average among starters, and I've graded about 6,000 snaps or so this year, is 71%. And last year it was about 72%. Baker has been very accurate this year. He's at 77% accuracy. 85 is nuts, and the degree of difficulty is very high because he's throwing downfield. That's what accuracy plus is. Accuracy plus is completion percentage if you take out all the routine throws. Again, league average, if you take out all the routine throws for accuracy percentage, is 44%. In this game, Baker was at 76.5. That is almost double as accurate as the average starter in the NFL. And I don't grade bad starters. This isn't any Zach Wilson type bullshit. This is Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. Like, they don't put up games like this. Nobody does. 38.24% of Baker's plays were positive, and only 14.7% were negative. Nuts. If you take out the sack fumble, which you can't do because that was an egregious sin. If you were to take it out, though, this is a 17 slugging game on only 28 snaps. That is right up there with Marcus Mariota versus the Chargers when he played with the Raiders and a few Tom Brady games for best passing performance I've ever seen. This was insane. Baker didn't miss. Now, the sack fumble was bad, but A-plus performance, Brady tier performance, Hall of Fame level performance. However, one game is just one game. That being said, on the season, Baker Mayfield's average GPA, I assign a letter grade to every game, right? Just like you get on your report card. A 4.0 is an A, a 4.3 is an A+, a 0 is an F, a C is 2. Baker Mayfield's GPA is 3.17. That's good for a B+. That's the top of the league right now. Because Josh Allen has way higher highs, and Josh Allen can do more stuff. There's nothing Josh Allen can't do. He's the best tools quarterback I've ever seen. But he does random crazy shit like throw really dumb interceptions at really bad times or fumble multiple times on a play. Baker Mayfield hasn't had that this year. So while Josh Allen's had a couple of F performances, just really bad, what are you doing performances, Baker hasn't. His worst game has been a C. But then you've got games like this. In fact, in 8 of Baker Mayfield's 14 games, he's played great plus, which means he got a B+ grade or better. It's the highest rate in the league. The kid is on fire. Baker Mayfield's not just game managing. He's not just in a system that fits him. Baker Mayfield's playing unheard of ball. And I think it's time he got some respect. So without further ado, let's check out that film. This first play is going to be really cool because it's going to look like a regular dump off from this angle, just a really simple routine play. But when you see the tight copy, you can actually see how much goes into it. And so it's still going to be a routine grade for the throw on our chart, but we're going to add a plus pocket movement because of how Baker Mayfield creates this play. So you can see play side is to his left. He's looking at his left. And here, watch and follow Baker Mayfield's eyes. So you can see how he's looking this way, kind of leading that linebacker who's currently off screen back out of the play. And then while still looking that way, he fires a ball into a relatively tight window that he opened up with his eyes. So it's still just a very easy throw. But Baker Mayfield did a lot to create that easy throw. So I'm not going to try to pour flowers on this dude who already had a great game as it is. But that's how you can tell very early on Baker Mayfield's in a groove. This is another play that's very routine, but it's something I love because for the longest time, the narrative about Baker Mayfield is he needs to operate from under center, he needs play action, he needs a heavy run game, and then he could just game manage on the side because that's how Kevin Stefanski likes to run his offense regardless of if his quarterback's Tom Brady or me. That's just what Stefanski does, and it's what Mayfield did with a lot of success because Mayfield succeeded. But what Baker Mayfield has always been best at, since back at Texas Tech, running Cliff Kingsbury's spread system, or Oklahoma running Lincoln Riley's spread system, he's best at going out of empty and just finding the open receiver. So here, it's a lot of short developing routes. On the right, he's got 2 curls, and then Cade Otton is going to branch off into a slant or a post. He finds the open receiver. He moves the chains on 3rd down. Baker Mayfield was once again really excellent on 3rd down, and it's because he made a quick decision and an accurate throw in time to a receiver who was at the sticks or beyond. Routine throw. Not a difficult play. Not impressive, but exemplary of how Baker Mayfield operates well out of empty. And that's something I've been banging the drum on all year, if not all career for Baker. All right, 3rd down, a little later in the drive. This is going to be a sack, and I want to examine it to see whose fault it is. So first of all, we've got Godwin in motion. Nobody moves, probably zone. The quick look is to the left. There's absolutely nothing developing yet. And you've got 3.5 defenders to the left, so nothing's really gonna develop. You could really throw a pinpoint ball and put it on Godwin right around here, but he's going to get tackled short of the sticks anyway, so you might as well just not do that. As the play develops, Mike Evans is now double-teamed. Trey Palmer, not even a chance of being open. If Baker has a second right here, theoretically, he could hit Cade Otton right in the middle of the field, but that's going to be a ridiculously tough throw, and honestly, it might not even be advised because there is still a linebacker in the middle of the field. Regardless, doesn't matter. The rush gets home. Baker Mayfield has to eat a sack. That's a coverage sack. It's not on the quarterback. No fault sack. Baker progressed through his reads pretty well. Let's watch his eyes on this, right? He's looking to the play side. You can see him go 1 to 2, move back to his right, still nothing, gets sacked. No fault, no plus pocket movement, didn't do anything, but certainly an average play. All right, this is going to be bad. Almost everybody's at the line of scrimmage. You got one offset deep safety. You can expect pressure, but at the very least, you can expect that nobody's going to be open short, right? You're going to need something deeper developing. Little play action to suck everybody in. They don't really bite at all. All right. There's the top of the drop. Baker's at the top. He's set up. This ball has to come out immediately, and it has to hit Cade Otton. Hit him in stride. This would be a great throw. It's not easy, but that's certainly where the ball has to go, and there's really no excuse for throwing it anywhere else or looking anywhere else. Baker's looking right at him. Ball needs to come out. Right here, Baker does a little hesitation crow hop, and all of a sudden, it's not that open. You'd have to put it back shoulder by now. You're already way too late. Baker's cocking up. I think he's going to go to Mike Evans because he's one-on-one on the outside. I think that's ill-advised. I think it would take a remarkable throw to get that ball to Mike Evans. And I think you already missed Cade Otton, who was wide open. But as you can see, and this looks kind of funny because he's horizontal, I paused it at just the right time. Ball's out. That's a sack on Baker. He had a wide open receiver he did not hit. He took way too long in the pocket, and he got really careless with that release. Watch as he dips that ball back behind him. That's, by the way, Cade Otton right in the middle of the screen. The tight copy can be so harsh. And right here, watch how Baker brings that ball behind him. See how his arm is flailing? That's just because he didn't have a compact release, because he was going to heave the ball 50 yards. And that is bad decision making. Baker Mayfield cost his team 7 points right there. We're going to start the second quarter here with a really nice throw by Mayfield. I graded this as solid because the window is so tight. And yes, 91 is a defensive lineman and 59 is a linebacker, and neither of them should be on Mike Evans. But between both of them and the safety, this is actually kind of a difficult throw. Right? You've got to put it right in that window. And Baker Mayfield puts it on him with perfect ball placement, so Mike Evans can cut upfield and maybe get some yak. Good play by number 20 there. I think that's Savage to make the hit. It's Ford. By the way, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm cutting out all the routine plays, all the screens, all the flats. We don't need to see that. We need to see what made this performance by Baker special. So you got a little motion and nobody moves. Baker now knows it's probably going to be zone. And what do you do on zone? You hit Mike Evans, of course. Mike Evans is going to run kind of a zig 7 to the post, which means he's going to fake like he's running a corner to sell Eric Stokes right there. And once he bites, he's going to cut up in the middle, and Baker has to throw a laser beam between the safety and the cornerback in order to get the ball in. Can he do it? I wouldn't be showing you if he couldn't. Great throw, elite throw, 30 or so yards downfield. Let's see where the launch point was. Launches it from the 25. And it gets caught at the back of the end zone 35 yards later. Line of scrimmage is the 20. That is a 30-yard throw on a frozen rope. That is an elite throw. Baker Mayfield has really struggled with the moon ball, the over-the-shoulder deep seam ball, or the deep streak ball, but he's been incredible on these seam-style routes, posts, streaks from the slot, etc. Just killing them on these lasers. All right, this play was scary, but it ended up just being a bad pass with a plus movement. So here, top of the drop, three-step drop. I believe this is third down. It is third down. You've got Godwin at the sticks, but he's being covered by a linebacker with much bigger arms than him. It's not realistic. Now, Baker does notice Mike Evans at the bottom of the screen. That's a really tough throw. Far hash to the number. It's only 5 yards downfield, but that takes a lot of arm strength, especially because Baker's momentum had been carrying him the opposite way. When Baker finally decides that he's ready to make that throw, the pressure's already on. And so Baker barely gets the ball out, and it looks like it might be a bad pass. Packers thought it might have been a fumble. Could have been interceptable if you're super, super harsh. I don't think so. Kenny Clark, back from the dead, gets the pressure. A nose tackle getting a pass rush on the edge. That's a little odd to see. And Baker was throwing that ball to an open receiver. He was making the right decision. It just took a little longer because Godwin and Evans didn't get open in time. It's a bad pass, but it's not and it's certainly not pickable. Now here, we're on the next drive already. I believe it's third down again. And this is a quick throw, but Baker is decisive and makes an accurate throw into a crowd. Now, it's a routine throw, but the way that he operates in the rhythm of this offense so well is impressive. It's unfortunate that I'm not going to show you every single one of his passes because there were just so many routine ones. Because the rhythm with which he was throwing was great, right? All the routine passes were on time, accurate, easy, simple. And when everything looks easy and simple, the quarterback's doing something right. It's a very solid throw. Right, so you got zone. Baker realizes that pretty quickly. And while the corner is pulling up on Otten, Baker has great anticipation, notices the key right away, and executes on that key with a very good throw. It's not great, not quite, but it's certainly solid. This one is definitely great, though. Watch Godwin out of the slot on the bottom of the screen. Right here, he comes open a little bit. Ball's already out. Excellent anticipation. Baker realizes he's got regular old cover 2 with the middle linebacker dropping deep into the hole. Perfect ball right past the linebacker, right in front of the safety. That's great. It might even be better. If the ball had a little more velocity and hit Godwin just a tiny bit earlier so that he could have kept running, it would certainly be elite, a lot like Stafford's throw to Puka Nacua just last week. But look at that ball placement. You could argue that this is elite. I won't because I'm trying to fight bias with Baker at every turn. But come on. Ball's caught at the 40. Mayfield lets this go from roughly the 34, right? And the ball gets caught at the 40. 34 plus 40, you got 74. That leaves 26 yards left for the throw. So it's 26 yards downfield. Baker is about 7 yards behind the line. So it's 19 yards past the line of scrimmage. 20-yard throw on a dime. Not quite elite, but damn close. So after this rare combination of anticipation, velocity, release quickness, excellent downfield accuracy, and great arm strength, naturally, we get a sack. Now, play side is left. They're trying to set up Mike Evans here. It's not going to work out. You could throw to Cade Otton on the backside, but you had to do it a little earlier than this because by now the cornerback is already closed in. It's too late for anything. Baker can't get any room to throw the ball away. That's a no-fault sack. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Depending on how harsh you are looking to be on Baker Mayfield, you're going to say, well, look, right here at the top of the route, Baker's in his, he stops his drop, he does his little bounce. Cade Otton's wide open at the top of the screen. Look at him. Well, even though he is open, the play side is to the left because it's zone. Therefore, Baker Mayfield has to move through his progressions. That sack's not on him. By the time he comes off Mike Evans, it's already too late. This was a quick sack, coverage sack, no-fault sack. All right, on the broadcast angle, this play actually looked kind of underwhelming, a little disappointing, like a bad throw with a plus pocket movement. On the All22, we can see that this is actually a very good play by Baker Mayfield. Now, watch the slot at the top of the screen. I can't quite tell who that is. I think that's that, who's the guy who got the touchdown later in the game? Moore? Watch him. This guy. Right there. That's who Baker Mayfield's looking at right here as he looks to his right. And he's got him on the seam. And right here, Baker cocks back because he's like, dude, I got the touchdown. But he realizes, I'm about to be hit. And if I get hit by a defensive lineman while I'm throwing this deep, and there are 3 men back there, if I'm off by a yard, this could be Packer ball. So he instead pulls the ball down and opts to just throw the ball away. Put it at the feet of your receiver because he couldn't leave the pocket, so it needs to be past the line of scrimmage and it needs to be close to the receiver. And he did a really good job of getting the ball out. And yes, Godwin's open, but it's too late. So this is pressure by the allowed by the offensive line far too quickly. If they would have held up a little longer, it might be a touchdown, although the way Baker's deep accuracy has been going this year, maybe not. Baker does a really good job of navigating the pocket and throwing the ball away here. So instead of being a plus pocket move and a bad throw, it actually turns out it's 2 plus pocket moves and a good throwaway. All right, this play is just, I'm bragging at this point. Line of scrimmage is the 48. Baker Mayfield gets the ball. His release point's going to be about the 40. 40-yard line. Look at the anticipation. This is second down and 10, 20, 30. Get real. Get real. That's dumb. This is a dumb throw. This is elite arm talent. The zip, the accuracy, it's fantastic. Now, Godwin was open, but typically dudes don't hit 30-yard outcuts. That's really good. That's a great throw. It's not elite, but it is a great throw. If it was covered better, it could have been elite, but it wasn't, so it isn't. Really hard to make that throw. You're not going to find 10 guys who can. That's a throwaway. Unfortunate on third down, but Baker Mayfield's trying to protect the field goal. Nothing open. End of the half. Don't waste time. Just kick the field goal. Listen, I don't want you guys thinking I'm only showing you the highlights, so I'm showing you all the bad throws too. Here, Baker just misses. It's a sprint out, and he misses by like a yard. Let him too much. Bad throws happen. The reason this game was so elite by Baker is because the bad throws didn't happen very often. This is another great one. Steps up and through the pocket. That's a really good job, and he keeps his eyes downfield. Now, Mike Evans is open, but Baker leads him even further open. This is a great play. This is an elite play. Only a great throw, but an elite play. So watch how the pressure closes in on Baker very quickly. Both tackles are getting beaten really soundly. So Baker steps up through the rush, and not only does he step up through the rush, he tucks that ball into his body to make sure that it's not loose and nobody's going to swipe at it and make him fumble again. Good job protecting the ball. Steps up, very nice, keeps his eyes downfield, gets his feet set again, and then delivers a dart. Again, line of scrimmage, 37. Throws the ball to the 55. It's about a 16-yard throw. I'm not great at math. It's an 18-yard throw. 18-yard throw downfield after scrambling. That's great, plus pocket movement. Love it. Here we got another of Baker's 3 or 4 incompletions. This one, to Trey Palmer. Gets the hands on it, but Trey Palmer's afraid of getting hit. I understand. We'll call it bad because Baker Mayfield didn't anticipate that Trey Palmer's not exactly a possession receiver. And the ball could have been placed a little bit better. You could have put it lower to protect your receiver. But all in all, quite frankly, Trey Palmer's got to catch that ball. All right, after slicing the Packers up with some screens, Baker comes back here with some really good eye action. Fakes the running back. I think that's designed. Or not the running back, the receiver running out of the backfield like a running back, and then they sneak the actual running back, Rachaad White, into coverage. This is beautiful. This is really good play design, and that's a great throw by Baker Mayfield yet again. It's about 15 yards downfield past the line of scrimmage, and it's on point. It's perfectly placed. We'll watch the tight copy so we can see how tight the window is. My inclination was to give it a solid throw off the rip, but once we see this tight angle, I might upgrade it to a great throw. We'll see. That's pretty impressive placement. He could have just lofted it over the top, but then you give the safety a chance to come down and crack him. I think that's at very least a solid throw, but I could be persuaded that it's great. Luckily, Baker plays so well that he's nowhere near a threshold, and we can just say it's solid, and he still gets an A+. Motion, shifting but no movement. We've got zone, and Baker with a nice back shoulder, solid throw. Again, really excellent understanding of leverage. Really good zip. I'm only showing you the consequential plays, the positive throws and the bad throws. And this video is still going to be 20 minutes long because Baker was just on that much fire. Here we got another sack, and this time, again, pressure way too quick. Not Baker's fault. Once again, my favorite thing, Baker Mayfield out of empty. Gets to the top of his drop. Excellent anticipation. Look, he's already throwing the ball. Nobody's even starting to break open, right? Perfect placement, perfect anticipation, 10 yards downfield, solid throw, good arm talent, perfect placement, and that is why it's a first down. Yes, Chris Godwin did a good job of picking up the yards after the catch, but Baker putting the ball on his nuts is why he was able to get so many yards after the catch. Yards after the catch on screens, wide receiver. Yards after the catch on downfield throws, quarterback. This play's a little funky. It's a one route play, right? It's an RPO. The only thing they're doing is handing the ball off or throwing to Mike Evans, and Mike Evans gets jammed like crazy. It throws off everything on the play. And Baker Mayfield's got a free rusher in his face, and he's like, well, shit, if I don't throw this pretty quick, I'm going to be eating it. So he does a good job to manipulate the defender with his eyes. He does a good job to wait on the route until Mike Evans has a chance, and he actually throws a pretty accurate ball. The cornerback is just draped all over Mike Evans like a cape. For once, the lockdown seatbelt celebration is totally warranted. This is an awesome play by number 37. Really good job to get a hand on the ball. We're going to call it a bad throw, even though it might not be. But we're still going to give Baker Mayfield a plus pocket movement for trying to fix a broken play. If Baker Mayfield could hit deep shots over the shoulder with touch, it'd be over for y'all. Now, this ball is defensive pass interference, but I just want to see him connect on one of these things so bad. Don't look now, but for the third time today, the Bucs are going empty. And for the third time today, something great happens when the Bucs go empty. This is a great throw. The placement is stupid. Line of scrimmage 25, catch point, 6-yard line. 20 yards downfield, perfect placement, great throw. Put Baker Mayfield in empty. Look, he's calling checks, he's organizing protections, he's reading blitzes, and he's throwing strikes. Let this man carry your offense. Let Baker bake. I almost feel bad calling a fade ball bad because, this is catchable. It's just a matter of how Mike Evans gets played by the corner. And he got jammed. So it's inaccurate, but, it's really not the quarterback's fault. Next play, little play action. Couldn't be any easier. It's the only routine throw I'll show you in the second half just because it was a touchdown. All right, here's a play where context matters. Remember, the Bucs are up a ton, and it's first down. Fourth quarter. All they need to do is churn clock. There are a lot of game scenarios where this would be a negative run and a bad play. But here, Baker Mayfield's just not taking any chances. Yeah, he could maybe thread that ball to Chris Godwin with some perfect layering and some great touch to the top of the field on that post, following along with, I think that's Trey Palmer, or maybe the tight end, I can't tell. But that would be difficult, right? Yeah, they're running Kate Otten on a post, and then Godwin's on a dig right behind him. But again, why throw a tight window throw over the middle of the field when you're just trying to run clock and it's first down? So Baker does a really good job of escaping the pocket, plus pocket movement, and then he just runs. And he stays in bounds. Now he doesn't. It's a neutral run. You wish he would have stayed in bounds and churned clock. Could have been slightly better. Certainly not bad. All right. Late right before the snap, the safety 20 bails out. So instead of looking like a robber situation or maybe a single high cover 3, it's now looking like it's probably going to be some kind of cover 2 or cover 4. You can see the way that the linebackers blossom. It's probably cover 4. No, it's cover 2. Wow, safeties get really wide there. That's difficult to ask of your safeties. Sorry while I geek over defense. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield just throwing a dart. Launch point about the 25. Line of scrimmage about the 30. Catch point about the 42. It's another 12-yard throw. Zinging him. The king of the intermediate throw. Excellent, solid pass. All right, and I think this is going to be the last play we show just because at this point the game's out of hand. This throw is short, but it's perfect, and therefore I give it a solid grade. Right? Line of scrimmage, 45-yard line. Ball only goes to the 52. So it's a 7-yard throw. But A, it's at the sticks. B, it's between two defenders. And C, it is placed so perfectly that the receiver can turn upfield and score a long touchdown. Now, it's not great. It's not elite. Baker Mayfield did not create this touchdown. But he certainly added about 5-10 yards onto this play that shouldn't have been there because his throw was that good. Watch from the tight angle. He puts it just past the linebacker's outstretched hand. And that's good because if he leads him too much, he's going to lead him right into that other defensive back. So Baker Mayfield sits the receiver down to the extent possible, allowing him to set his feet and get running upfield. That is a good pass. That is one of the best 7-yard passes you will ever see, and therefore it is solid instead of just routine. And there you have it. Baker Mayfield. One of the best games of the entire season by any quarterback. So, after watching that game, it's hard not to gush about Baker Mayfield, and I think that that's why this might be a safe time for me to say, I know it sounds crazy, but I think that Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I know, and that says a lot more about the current state of the NFL than it does about Baker Mayfield, but he's outplaying Josh Allen. Like I said, Josh Allen's got a couple stinkers, right? Their median grade is the same. They typically both get a B+. Their mode grade is actually in Josh Allen's favor. He gets a 4.3. The most common thing that Josh Allen does is put together an A+ performance. But then Josh Allen has a lot of stinkers, just really bad games. So his average GPA is 2.95 and Baker's is 3.17. And I've graded every game from all of them. I've graded 14 games from Baker and 13 games from Allen, but I didn't grade the Cowboys game where he had 7 completions, and I feel like that's okay. Now, both of them put up great plus performances at almost identical rates. Allen has 7, Baker has 8. Baker avoids turnovers. Baker's got 15 turnover-worthy plays, 2.6%. Allen's got 20, 3.9%. Baker is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the entire NFL, if not the most accurate this year. His accuracy downfield has been stellar, same caliber as Allen and Herbert. Produces a positive play on one of the highest rates in the NFL, and he avoids negative plays almost as well as Josh Allen and Justin Herbert do. I don't know. It's really hard to say Baker Mayfield's not a top 5 quarterback right now. Unless you just look at like the fact that he's short and stocky and annoying and does bad commercials. But that doesn't have anything to do with playing football. He's playing amazing football, and I think he deserves to get some credit. People are starting to come around, and I feel like Baker Mayfield loyalists are so traumatized that they're willing to say like, oh, people think Baker's an above average quarterback? That's great. Well, he's playing a lot better than Patrick Mahomes. So if Baker Mayfield's just above average, Patrick Mahomes is bad. And Patrick Mahomes is not bad. Even this year, bad year for Patrick Mahomes, solid starting quarterback, above average starting quarterback. And Baker's just a lot better. And he's doing it with less. He's got Dave Canales and Todd Bowles coaching him, and that's not a good thing. He's got Mike Evans dropping the ball like crazy, Chris Godwin dropping the ball a lot lately. Baker Mayfield played perfect against the Packers, but it's not the best game he's played this year. It's just the first time that things didn't go tragically wrong around him. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? Is Baker Mayfield not the best quarterback in the NFL? If so, where do you put him? Do you want to see him stay with the Bucs? If you're a Bucs fan, what are you willing to pay him? And if you're a Baker fan, wouldn't you rather see him go somewhere else with a better coaching staff? Because I don't think Todd Bowles is getting fired. Baker Mayfield has proven me wrong and dragged a bad Buccaneers coaching staff and a mediocre Buccaneers roster at best to the playoffs. So, kudos, Baker. I didn't think you had it in you. Until next time, I'm just going to be watching more film. Next up is Justin Fields because I'm a Chicagoan and I'm hearing some terrible things about maybe keeping him. Till then, though, hasta.